Thik hai, main puri story dobara lik raha huntak, sabcheks green ho jane, word count thoda bahe. Ending car pura event wapas ad kia. Peak co final third main shift kia. Or woe do close dialogue, lines completely nay words main likai hain. The claw stops 2 centimeters from her open palm. Nobody in the gallery breathes. Somewhere behind that stillness is the answer to a question every species in the sector is about to ask itself at once. What happens when the thing you built to kill you decides not to? 3,000 cycles before that frame existed, Vex Prime had never let a challenger walk out standing. 67 species had sent their finest into its arenas. 67 had gone home in containers, when they went home at all. So when a human woman stepped through the gate, carrying a hunting knife and something that looked embarrassingly old-fashioned strapped to her hip, Commander Val watched the feed and decided the exercise would be brief. Her name, rendered clumsily by the facility's translators, meant something close to ally. Val found that almost funny. Lieutenant Thex filed it as a data point and said nothing. Neither of them noticed, yet, that she kept stopping at intersections to press a palm flat against the floor plating, reading the building the way a sailor reads weather. She was listening for something large. She found it. The Scorvath that came for her was 12 feet of old scarring and undefeated math, 43 kills logged against its name, a jaw built to crack battle armor. It closed the distance the way a rockfall closes a canyon, all at once, no room to argue with it. She didn't run. That alone unmade something in Val's understanding of prey. She dropped half a second before impact, rolled clear, and came up moving alongside the beast instead of away from it. A weighted net caught its foreleg mid-stride. 2 seconds of stumble brought her a corridor too narrow for 600 pounds of muscle to follow, and behind her, small devices bolted to the walls began screaming frequencies that folded the creature's ears flat against its skull. For 20 minutes she made a science of it, emerge, provoke, retreat by inches, disappear. She was building a map out of the animal's own instincts, and Val, watching, understood too late that this had stopped being a hunt and become an experiment. She finished it in a half-collapsed chamber, standing in open ground where every angle could see her, firing 6 shots into the floor around her own feet. A thin line connected each impact point. She counted under her breath and let the Scorvath give her exactly the charge she needed. When its legs crossed her circle, the ground came apart beneath it. Old explosives, not plasma, and 15 feet of drop swallowed the animal whole. It didn't die. She made certain of that, kneeling at the pit's edge, calling for medics over an open channel while the beast thrashed below her. Victory requires elimination, Val told her afterward, mandibles tight with disbelief. Then maybe elimination isn't the only thing worth requiring, she said. I've shown what I can do to it. What I do next belongs to me. Hunting Master Zorgath did not receive that answer gently. He summoned Val to a chamber that smelled of scorched ally and pulled up a roster reserved for executions, not sport. Category 6, he said, watching Val's optical stalks retract on their own. Subject Theta. Void-born. Killed 2 handlers and 3 maintenance crews. We keep it sedated because we don't entirely trust our own containment. You want her matched against that. I want the galaxy to remember what a real predator looks like. Ambassador Kellix brought Dakota the files that night. It folds itself through 3 meters of space like the distance isn't there, Kellix said. It reads 14 bands of sense we don't have words for. It has never lost. Neither have I, Dakota answered, and meant something entirely different by it than Zorgath would have wanted. She spent 6 hours in an observation cell before the match, and what she watched wasn't an animal. It favored one side turning. It probed new corners of its cage without ever repeating a test twice. Near the end of the window, it went completely still, 14 eyes fixing on the viewport, and made a sound layered with harmonics no simple throat could shape. The translator failed twice before it produced one word. Recognized. That word followed her into the arena the next day, into the moment. 30 meters of open ground separated her from something that had killed everyone sent to study it. Theta arrived the way it moved, reality folding wrong. And then it was simply there, crystalline, and catching the light in patterns that hurt to track. She didn't run, and this time the room barely reacted to that. They'd learned to expect it. What they hadn't expected was for her to raise one open hand, palm out, and hold it there. The same gesture humans used on a dozen worlds to mean, wait, listen, I mean this. Theta tilted its head, not confusion this time, calculation. She answered its earlier word with a garbled attempt through a wrist synthesizer, clumsy, probably meaningless as grammar, and Theta went rigid, then replied with something layered and complex. 90 seconds passed between them like that, broadcast to 40 systems, before Dakota sat down cross-legged in the center of a killing floor and set her weapon on the ground beside her. Theta lowered itself too, not submission, something closer to agreement. She stood, closed the distance to 5 meters, close enough that nothing could save her if this was wrong, and pulled a ration bar from her pack. Broke it, held half out on an open palm. The claw came down through the last 2 centimeters, closed with a delicacy nothing that size should have owned, and drew back with the food toward what might have been a mouth. Only then did she turn to the cameras. "This isn't an animal reacting to a threat," she said. "It answered when I spoke to it. It repositioned itself so I could see it clearly. It just ate from a stranger's hand instead of taking the hand. You've been running executions and calling them sport." Zorgath's voice cracked through every speaker in the compound, demanding proof for an accusation that size. "It's standing here instead of killing me," Dakota said. "That's the proof. Go find a better explanation if you can." Val found Zorgath alone afterward, forearms braced against a cracked desk. "Commander Kellix is already drafting a treaty complaint," Val said. "If the collective pulls trade over this, we don't survive the quarter that follows. Whatever we decide fast. You want me to let a mammal rewrite 3,000 cycles of protocol?" "I want us still standing next quarter," Val said. "Call it a correction. Call it whatever keeps the lights on." Zorgath's shoulders dropped, fractionally, the way a wall settles before it's torn down properly. Word came through the arena speakers within the hour. The challenge stood as one. Both challenges and subject Theta would transfer to Zenthari custody for evaluation as what it plainly already was. Kellix found Dakota that night at a viewport, watching the dark where the moon's curve met open space. "You didn't come here to win a hunt," Kellix said. "I came so nobody calls my sister's people prey again," Dakota said. "Turned out the fastest way to prove that was to stop treating anything like one." Below them, in a transport bay lit by unfamiliar stars, a crystalline claw pressed once against the inside of a viewing pane, a farewell in the only language it had, and close enough to a goodbye that neither woman bothered arguing over the difference.